Hello and welcome back. This is going to be an additional video to the Moonshine and Biogas export and import video that I recently uploaded. There's a couple of items that I missed, and after looking around on the American Outback map I managed to see what I'd done, or what I hadn't done I should say, and I really wanted to put those in a separate video so that anybody who is actually attempting to do this gets everything that is really involved in all this. You know, there's some parts which aren't required, as you could probably see if you have watched my video on how to do this already. You will see that the actual system does start up, it runs fine, you get what what you're expecting to get out of it, your moonshine or your biogas or whatever else. There's a couple of items there that I really thought added to it that I wanted to not leave out really, so I'm just going to put this video together, and if you find it of some help, then fantastic. If you're not really that bothered, then that's okay too. I'm just going to click on this now and export this sign in its entirety, put it in a new folder, and then when we get to it I'll put it into the American Farms and add it to that facility. So what I want to do here is actually highlight the main transform group here in the Cinegraph, and like everything else, just going to go into File, Export Selection with Files, go to my desktop, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it Sign. That'll be fine. So I'm going to open that up, and then we'll call this the we'll call it the same as what you can see over here in the attributes name. So we'll call it Moonshine Sign, like so, and we'll go ahead and save. So we'll get back to that shortly, but there's a couple of other things that I want to actually show you before we do that, and that is to do with the oh, and by the way, you can actually see there's no errors in this particular stage, so that's exported from, at least what I can tell so far, okay, so that's fine. Okay, so the next thing I want to look at here is to do with the biogas facility, and a couple of things here. Number one is the way that I exported it was a little bit rough, to be fair, because I didn't need to do it the way that I had done it. As you could see, again, if you have watched that video, it worked perfectly fine, but there was a lot of editing that I had to do before I imported it into American Farms. And I've come back to see if there was an easier way of doing that, and there is. And I should have seen it before, but I didn't, so I apologise for that. But you can see in the biogas transform group here, you've got your actual separate cubes here, or your blocks for your different mods. And what I should have done there is to actually just highlight the BGA_FS cube or block or whatever you want to call that, and exported that on its own. That way I would have just got this and nothing else, because you can see if I pan around the map, nothing else is highlighted, and that is what I should have done. But I think the reason why I did it the other way was I have had it before when I've done it this particular way, and I have then found not all of the textures were exported correctly, so not quite sure. What I will do is just do a test run. I'm not going to import it into a map and test it and everything else, but I'm just going to do a test export now by just highlighting this on its own, and then see if it exports successfully with no errors. So I will do that. I'm just going to go into Export Selection with Files here. I'm just going to create another new folder, and we'll just call it the BGA, that's fine, like so. So I'll open that up and I'll call it the biogas, like so, and we'll save. And no errors, so I take that as a good sign. Like I said, I'm not going to mess around importing it into a map and doing all the rest of it, because I've already done that, and as you could see, that did work. And if you're okay with that, that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to show you there is a simpler way of doing this without having to export all of these mods in one package like I did in the other video, and then have to edit all these other bits and pieces out. By clicking on just that, the BGA_FS, you will just get this, and that's all you require. At the end of the day, if you find that when you do import it into a map and it doesn't function correctly, I have actually tested this out, not in its fullest, like I did with the actual main import with the video and everything, and getting it all up and running I did import it like this just as a quick test off video, and it did seem to import okay, but I didn't actually start it up and run it or anything. So, you know, that's really going to be up to you which way you choose to do it. But I wanted to give everybody, you know, the opportunity to see that there was another way of doing it that may work better, because if you remember rightly, doing it by exporting the entire thing, it kept my gizmo all the way over there, and it then became very difficult to position it on the map properly. By doing it this way, your gizmo is bang on the BGA facility there, and will certainly make it easier to then manipulate around the map and get it where you want it with a little bit. Well, it'll just make it easier for you, I think. So, just like I say, you know, this is just another way of doing it, and hopefully, you know. Anyway, yeah, we'll move on. I just wanted to show you that, so that's perfectly fine. The other thing I wanted to show you was, if I actually go into the BGA here, the biogas facility, you've got your work animations, and I didn't know that this was the case, but I was just, like I say, having a play around, trying to figure out if there was an easier way of doing this, and I came across this while I was looking in all the bits and pieces, yeah, just came across it really, and I thought, well, you know, it is part of the mod, and it seems silly to leave it out. So if we actually open this work animation by clicking the plus there, and we'll go into the PS transform group here, you've got your slurry emitter, which is down here for your slurry pit, and you've got your fire emitter. Now when this BGA system, or the biogas system, is actually started up and running, you will see in the slurry emitter, the slurry pit here, you will actually have slurry coming out into that pit. An animation will then run, showing you slurry coming into there like so. And again, with the fire emitter, when the BGA runs up, at intervals of 60 seconds, a whatever you want to call it, a plume of fire, or I don't know, whatever, comes up out of the stack here. So, like I say, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it is part of the mod, and it all adds to the environment and everything else. If you're running on perhaps maybe a lower spec PC, you might want to leave it alone and not add it in, but I would just give it a try. You know, you can always remove it if you so choose to, and it, you know, if it causes lag or whatever else, then remove it. But I think I'm going to add it in, and I thought, well, you know, why not bring you guys along, make a little video here, show you how we do that, and again, hopefully you'll get something out of it. So what we're looking for here is the particle system file name and the path file name for that particular animation, which you can see across here as a separate i3D. So we need to find that, bring that over into American Farms, and then adjust whatever we need to adjust to get this lined up with the correct path file name. So you can see here that the path file name is map/ps/gastorch.i3D. So what I need to do there is basically find that in American Outback, in the map folder, in the actual folder structure itself, not in Giant Center, but the folder itself. If I open that up, like so, and then basically copy that across into American Farms. Now what I want to do here is try and keep this as simple as possible. You could start to change the path file name here and whatever else, and if you want to do that, absolutely go for it. What I'm going to do here is just, you've got the map PS, and you can see in here you've got the gas torch, and if I can find it, the slurry PS, which is this one here. I could just copy those over manually, but I don't really know. Well, there is a way of doing it. You can actually open it up in the text editor. So if I right click on the i3D there and then open it up, you can see that the files that you require, fire DDS, particle system, shader.xml, and threshing particle.dds. So if you wanted to, you could find those and then copy them over into a separate folder and all the rest of it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the whole folder. So I'm going to do that with Control C. Go back into my American Farms here, and we know that it's in map PS. Well, there is no PS folder in here, so that's good. So what I can do there is just basically paste that in, like so. So now what I've got is, if I look at the path file name on American Outback here, you can see it's map PS gas torch i3D, And now in American farms it's map, PS, and then gas torch i3D. The rest of the stuff will be ignored because it's not required, and there's no path file name that's associated with any of it, so don't need to worry about that. But I think doing it this way is just easier because you've got everything there, and also it will match up for the slurry emitter as well and everything else. So I think that's probably going to be the easiest way of doing it. So what I'll do is basically, now that I've done that, I've copied that over, and hopefully, you know, this was of some use to you guys. Like I say, the other way worked, so, you know, if you're happy with that, go with it. But by exporting this on its own, I think you'll cut down a lot of tinkering with the mod and having to delete all the other bits and pieces, the sawmill and everything else, like I did in the video. So, yeah. We've got our sign, we've exported that, that's great. We've now exported or moved over, copied over the particle animations for our slurry and our fire thingy stack there, whatever. So what I'll do now is I'm going to close this down. Don't need to make any saves there. And then I'll zip this up, we'll put it into game, and then I'm just going to show you that it does actually work as intended, and then yeah, that'll be that. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so here we are in game, and as you can see, we've got our slurry animation coming out there, and if we have a look up here, we've also got at our biogas facility our flame coming out the stack. So fantastic. Yeah, all working really well. I know it's just little things like that, but you know, it all adds to the immersion and whatever else of the game and the mod and all the other bits and pieces. So I really felt that you guys should you know, benefit from all of it, really. You know, it's there to be seen. So yeah, I really wanted to do this little video and bring you guys along so you could actually see how you go about putting that in, and so that I didn't miss anything out and what have you. So yeah, really good. And like I say, every so often it will stop, and then on the fire coming from the stack there, I think it's every 60 seconds, but I could be wrong. It just fires up every now and again, so you know, you could possibly change that and lower the number down if you wanted to in the interval when we, like I showed you in the giant serter there. We'll just come over here. Actually, let's do this, come over a bit quicker, and as you can see there, I've imported the sign there and added that in as well. So really straightforward to do that. I didn't think it was really necessary to show you that on video. Just copy a folder, you know, a newly created folder over into somewhere in your map, in your map structure, and then import it like, well, everything else really, like you know, you've imported the actual Moonshine facility and whatever else, and then use your interactive placement function and bring it over somewhere, and then close to the facility, and then manipulate it with a gizmo until you get it where you like it. So yeah, so I think we're pretty much done there. I don't like to miss stuff out, you know, especially if it's part of the mod. I think it's like I say, it all adds to the immersion of the game and the bits and pieces. So felt this video was, you guys are, you know, deserve me to do a proper job of it. Also wanted to just finish this off with this little video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.